Here we go. So we're streaming. We are on. Um, all right. Okay. Yeah, so thank you for joining us today. Today's we go live right now. It's just once a week on Wednesdays. Today is going to be about how to find motivated sellers using PPL or pay per lead. We have a special guest today. His name is James Hartquist, and he's with Property Leads. And so there's a lot of pay per lead type services out there. Property Leads is the best in my opinion. They've got they've got great communication. They have a great platform. It's easy to understand how to use their platform. And I'm not the smartest guy. I can definitely figure some stuff out, but when it comes to like tech and all this stuff, I'm just not the guy. So what I really liked about their platform, and I'm going to let James kind of talk about this, but it's just really easy to use. If you are marketing, we're obviously you guys know us, and we were heavily invested in Ohio. But if you wanted to, go into a different, submarket of Ohio, you can, in a few clicks away, start pointing marketing. They do a really good job because when you turn on the marketing, it comes fast. And James is going to talk about how they how they operate and stuff like that, how their program works. But I mean, if you say your budget is $2,000 for that day, it's going to turn on. You're going to get the leads. Okay. And it's easy to identify, turn it on. And also, look, if you got enough leads for the day, you can also turn it off. So the what do they call it? The usability of it, it's amazing. So we brought him on today because a lot of our community has been asking, hey, what is Property Leads? How did they get their leads? We'll get to all of that today. And then also we kind of discussed before the call, he's got some pretty cool bonuses here for y'all. So you want to stay on for the whole live because we're going to be asking him some pretty specific questions. He's going to answer any of your questions as well. And feel free wherever you're on to, if you're on YouTube watching this, if you're on Facebook watching this, or Instagram watching this, if you got any comments, questions, I'll be looking out for those so that we can get your questions answered today. But without further ado, Dave, do you got anything? Let me see. Let me unmute you here. There you go. Do you got anything for James before we start?
No, we've been using Property Leads for quite a while, so it's a great honor to have James with us here today. And we only promote stuff that we use. So full transparency, we've done a lot of deals off this service, and it's I'm really happy we're able to bring this to more people. A lot of abundance, a lot of deals happening, and James, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I love hearing the success stories. We have a lot of meetings internally about whether or not people are winning. So, when we hear that you guys are doing a lot of deals, it makes us very happy. You guys have purchased a lot of leads from us. So I think you guys are, uniquely qualified to get feedback, right? Because you've purchased over 300 leads, which is a really good sample size. RJ, I think you touched on something that is really a big draw to PPL or pay per lead, and that's the ability to turn it on and off. You don't have that flexibility with like your PPC campaigns. You're going away for the weekend or the week, like your PPC runs. If you're a one person show, you're in wherever your vacation is, there's leads rolling in, Google's charging you. They don't care if you do deals or not. Where with Property Leads, you can pause and unpause. We have a pretty slick refund policy. I think the most fair in all the space. We'll touch on that later. So, that's one of the really big draws, to the PPL space, is just the ability to have full flexibility. And if you want to try out a market, right, without having to, build out a PPC campaign specifically for that county, that could take 3 months to get dialed in. You spend, $18,000. You have no return because you haven't stuck with it long enough. It's a lot of work. You end up becoming like a full-time marketer and not actually a real estate investor. And I'm sure a lot of people have felt that. So we try to make that side of it easy. in terms of like how the platform works, pretty easy on and off. You create an account. We'll drop the link later on with a little bonus. Um, I'm not going to get to that yet. You gotta wait till the end if you want to hear what the bonus is. Create your account. You log in. You do a 2 lead deposit, which is really a barrier to entry to get onto one of these platforms to start getting leads. You set your monthly budget. You add your counties, and you're kind of off to the races. Um, Additionally, there's a refund policy in place. So we refund for any nonsense that comes in. What we consider nonsense would be like a property that's already listed on the MLS. We don't expect you to pay for that. It's not off market. Another wholesaler trying to dispo a deal. Like if you can run the numbers and do a deal, do some sort of a JV, like awesome. It's just a free lead for you at that point. Any mobile homes and parks, any vacant land, any spam leads you get, any no reply. As long as we can confirm the no reply is legit. We do follow up with everybody. We're happy to refund that. The goal is for you guys to win, not for us to make like an extra $200 off of a lead that was a nonsense lead. Nobody wins long term with that. So, what would you guys say for the people that are in this community is sort of the main like marketing channel or channels? Is there something you guys focus on outside of PPL?
Yeah, I just did a video about this yesterday. It's on their YouTube channel. It's also on Instagram. And I went over literally every single marketing campaign, and I still have these notes here in front of me. I'll just buzz through them here real quick. I mean, what are your marketing channels when it comes to being a real estate investment company? Here's your outbound. You got DMs and emails. You got text and RVM. You got phone, which is cold calling. You got direct mail. You got driving for dollars. You got door knocking. That's pretty much all encompassing here. That's pretty much it. For the inbound, you got PPC, you got signs, which still, people are going to call you inbound, but it still takes work to get it out there. And then PPL. And that's what we're talking about here with you.
Awesome.
So we have done literally everything that I just rattled off. We've done everything that you possibly need. And the thing when it comes to, let's just real quick touch on, DMs and emails, you're not going to find a lot of motivated sellers on your social media platforms. You're not. You're not going to find motivated sellers on Facebook. That's not how this works. You will find them through search engines, which we'll discuss, but it ain't happening with DMs. Text and RVM, there's a lot of FTC regulations and laws, and you need some pretty decently robust systems in place to do text, RVM, as well as cold calling. It's not just a plug and play like it is with buying leads, like property leads. So meaning it's not just a matter of signing up for a text thing. You need to have a VA to scrub your data. You're going to have a lot of people opting out. You need to constantly be working the data, and then you're going to get a ton of non-motivated people, and it is a bit intrusive. And there's laws being passed against it. I think it's a red flag altogether. Direct mail, I am bullish on direct mail. It is a bit expensive, but I feel as technology increases, now you see more spam, more companies. It used to be back in the day when we were little and our parents and whatnot, they would get tons of junk mail. The junk mail's gone down because now it's spam. Everybody's using online. I think direct mail is still a valid way to generate leads if you're choosing to go outbound. And then driving for dollars, that's another great way. We should all be doing that just in our spare time. It's not system heavy and it's not cost heavy. And door knocking is probably the least efficient way to generate leads, but the most impactful if you can get eye to eye, belly to belly with somebody right off the bat. Now, when it comes to efficiency and getting truly motivated people and not system intensive where you need a big staff to manage the data and manage the responses and manage all this stuff, PPC is something we're very big on. So RJ's been kind of taking over a lot of our PPC campaigns and really diving in. You got to know what you're doing with that though, because Google will gladly take your money. Google, you'll put a credit card in there and you don't know if your ads are hitting or not unless you're watching the stuff and you know how to track this stuff. Google will just keep taking your money. So it is not, you just got to know what you're doing. A lot of trial and error, a lot of wasted money. And then bring right to here to you. I think the most efficient way where it's the least system intensive, and you're still getting a motivated lead and you're not dealing with somebody who you're kind of walking the line on FTC laws. It's non-intrusive. They contacted you, would be pay per lead. I think it's probably the least system intensive and the most efficient and the best bang for your buck, ultimately.
Yeah. And I think, to touch on the PPC piece, like if you're managing that in-house, I think there's an element to, do you enjoy doing that? Like if RJ's like,
Yeah.
I dig this is cool. I think that's valuable, right? Because he likes what he's doing. But if every morning you're logging into that campaign and you're like, man, this sucks, that's going to get old quick. It's going to start to create some resentment, and eventually you're going to, you're going to I think you're going to disconnect yourself from your business because you're just like, I don't like doing this anymore. So again,
But
it's like
you're the business owner too, James. You can't be doing that
for
to,
sure.
if you're going to scale. Like if, so, and then there's a lot of training, and like PPC is a whole new thing to learn. It's like learning a whole new language. You can do it. It's going to take some time. But, if you want to get results fast, why not just go and find the who? And you
Yeah.
guys are the who, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And I think an important piece there too is, we ran comparisons between like people's PPC campaigns versus the leads they get from us. And generally, like overall cost per leads ends up being less. Cost per deal definitely ends up being less. And it's because we're refunding all the nonsense, right? Like if you get an MLS listed property from Google, sure, maybe the click costs you $100, where the leads and, with property leads in your county are 300. And you might look at that and say, well, I can pay 100 on my own or 300 with property leads, but you're not factoring in the refunds. And I think, if you took two campaigns, a PPC campaign versus your campaign with property leads, and you bought, 100 leads, I think the cost per lead would be really close. In the long run, factoring in refunds. And then when you also loop in the amount of time that it takes to run your PPC campaign, PPL is generally going to just get you the best bang for your buck overall. Time invested, cost per lead being low. The target thing to track is cost per deal, right? Like cost per lead, sort of a moot point, right? Like if you knew that every lead you received would close, you'd pay $1,000 for every lead, right? But
right.
telling somebody the leads are $1,000, they'd be like, good Lord, I can't pay $1,000. But
I want RJ to touch on cost per deal, cost per contract. RJ has a lot of good KPIs that he's going to be sharing, but let me real quick interject. We are seeing more and more people kind of jump onto the call. So if you're just joining us, we have James with us from Property Leads. And what this is, everybody, this is a pay per lead, not paper, not like, we're not talking about paper. It is pay per, like pay per view. It's pay per lead. And what we have noticed, just from our own experience, it's probably the most efficient way to get a motivated seller on the phone. And our RJ is very big, and in our real estate company, I'm like really tracking this. So this is like backed by data. This is not our opinion. This is not some guesswork. We're not pulling rabbits out of hats and, looking to the stars for the answers here. This is backed by data. And Property Leads has been very, very efficient for us and very profitable for us in buying leads, getting these leads on the phone, and actually closing profitable real estate transactions. So James was just talking about really, the cost per deal. Like if you're making $10,000 on every deal you do, and you close every lead and the lead is $1,000, you would do as many leads as you possibly can. It's not always that simple. RJ, talk to us about what you're seeing as far as the cost per contract and the cost per lead when it comes to kind of the pay per lead program.
Yeah, so we touched on like other marketing channels that we've tried in the past: direct mail, cold calling. So let's touch on direct mail. So direct mail, the most, it costs the most. It really does. You got the mailer. First, you got to get the data. So 2,000, 4,000, data points. Then you have, the cost to mail it out. Well, before that, you have to skip trace it, so you're getting the best addresses. Then you have that cost. Then you have the mail house. So in totality, you're probably looking at like, 600, 700, maybe even more cost per lead, $600, $700, depending on who you use and the frequency of how much you mail out. And then you have cold calling. It's the same thing. Cold calling, you got to pay for the callers. Yeah, it's 5, 6, maybe $7 an hour for the labor, but it roughly costs about the same, And this is a channel where you do, you're doing all this marketing, and sometimes it bombs, and you spend anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 on the campaign, and nothing happens because you're not the only company doing this. And I'm not saying that no one's using pay per lead, but in our industry, everybody, like, direct mail was hot, and it continually still is hot, meaning everybody's using that channel. It took a little dip when everyone started cold calling. If you've been in this industry for 10 years, you'll see, gurus out there pumping, like, their system on direct mail, their system on cold calling. It was direct mail was the biggest thing. Then it was texting, and then it was all these regulations came down. So then it was cold calling, all this. What I've seen is that our cost per lead went from 600 to $800, all the way down to like 150 to $60. And all our channels are inbound. Once we get the lead inbound, then we will follow up with texting and calling and all these things. So property leads has definitely helped us keep our cost per lead down substantially, and also increasing the amount of deals that we're doing monthly. So one of the questions that I heard last week, James, was, how does this even work? Like, how are they, you pay them, you have a budget, and let's say it's 2,000. Like, how are you guys even getting these leads that fast? Can you touch on, like, where these leads are coming from? You don't have to give away all of your secrets, but can you give us like just a sneak peek of how you guys are getting these leads?
Yeah, absolutely. So property leads is really heavy on the organic SEO search side of things. So that would be, a Google search that leads somebody to like a website. So we have quite a few, websites. We have some that are at the national level, meaning like they cover all 50 states, even Canada. And then we have some more localized ones in the hotter areas. The thing with building websites is they can take years to build out. So these are sites that we started, let's say in 2020, 2021, that we've been building out for a long time. In terms of intent, when a seller hits up a website from like a Google search, cash for houses, Cleveland, they find one of our website, they put their info in. That's somebody coming to us with their hands up saying, hey, like, I'm looking to sell. That would be an organic SEO lead. An example of a paid SEO lead would be like a PPC lead. And Jeff asked a good question in the chat. I can see here. What does PPC stand for? That's pay per click. So you're paying somebody money to get in front of somebody else, right? So in this instance, somebody goes to Google, they search cash for houses, they find RJ's PPC ad at the top. It always will say like sponsored. That's how you know it's a paid ad. They click on it, they put their information in that they're looking for a cash offer, they're looking to sell. And that's how RJ or somebody running a PPC campaign captures those leads. We definitely run a lot of paid ads in-house. What we do to keep the quality high is we just heavily filter everything we send out. And that's how we're able to capture high quality leads, even on social. Like, we just don't send out the nonsense. So let's say one of the questions we ask on the step 2 form is, what's your timeline for selling? If they say no timeline, we don't even send those leads out. I don't know anybody else. I don't know anybody else that does that. And the reason that we don't do that we don't send it out, is we looked at the data, right? And when I say data, we looked at title transfer data, and we compared that to that option. That person that fills out that web form and they say they have no timeline to sell, in the next 6 months, how many of those web form fills actually sell their house? And it wasn't a high number. So because we care about the people, we're like, we can't send these out. So we don't even bother sending them. So that's how we're able to capture higher quality leads, even on social, is that we use that title transfer data as kind of like the holy grail of data, at least in-house, because that's the only real way for us to check our work. It's not uncommon when I'm doing an onboarding call, or one of the guys are doing an onboarding call for an investor, to say, well, what do the leads convert at? And I always say, well, I don't know how good at converting are you? Because like, you could have 10 leads where one should convert, and somebody who doesn't know how to convert them won't convert. And you could have a really solid investor who gets it, and you could send them 10 very average leads, and they're probably going to get a deal. So the conversion rate for a particular person doesn't always tell the whole story, but the title transfer data does. And one of the things that we do in-house is if somebody comes to me after 6 months and, 50 leads, 50, 60, 100 leads, and they say, hey, James, bro, these leads suck. We need to have a conversation. We're always happy to do that. And what we do is we look at the data. We look at the title transfer data. And if we look at it and it looks good, the conversation we have is centered around the sales process and how they can improve that. If the title transfer data looks bad, that's on property leads. And we usually get somebody a nice little credit to make things right. So the goal for us is to keep people on long term. It's not a cash grab for us. And we look at the data. The data tells the whole story.
When you say that, go ahead, Dave.
You know what makes people successful ultimately in life? I don't care if it's real estate investing or if it's anything. Speed. You got to move fast. I'm not talking about the speed that they're cooking in the meth house that I'm going to look at 2:00. I'm talking about taking action fast. So I just wanted to acknowledge 920 home buyers for signing up for property leads. You get a bell. There you go.
Yeah, here and then what James touched on is like, look, and I want to reiterate that he said it's the person handling the leads. If you don't have like a good script, or if you're just brand spanking new and don't know what to say and don't know how to convert them, you're wasting money. You're blowing money. And we're here to help you. If you need help with that, just get a hold of me through here in the comments or something like that. If you're like brand spanking new, what to say to these motivated sellers, because once the lead comes to you, you got to get on the phone fast. If you don't know what to say, you're gonna fail, and we can't have that. We want to help you succeed here. That's why we're bringing these strategies and sources to you guys to get leads today. But all these marketing channels work. There's just some that take a little bit longer for a revenue event to happen. I think the longest one, be honest with you, I think the longest one is cold calling. It takes long. You have motivated sellers coming to you, delivered to your inbox or your text. I love it because I see it. Once it comes, it's a quick text and then immediately goes to the team, and then our team is on the phone, getting right in front of them. How can we help you?
You know, something real quick, RJ, to touch on what you just said is what we've noticed is you want the least barriers between you and the money when it comes to this lead generation game. Meaning, if you're closing your own deals, which you should, we still close our own deals too, everybody. You should still be on the phone. Where do you make money in real estate? You make your money from talking to sellers on the phone, making offers, raising private money, and bringing deals to the finish line at the closing table. This is like where the revenue generating activities lie. And you want to separate, you want as few barriers between you as the closer who's making money and the actual seller. And when you're doing cold calling and whatnot, think about it. You got the cold caller, typically they're overseas, and then they finally get somebody who's already kind of probably a little bit pissed off because it's a cold call and they feel it's intrusive. So then the cold caller now is going to either set a callback for you, which is not speed to lead. Remember, speed is everything. Maybe they'll do a live transfer. We've had some success with that, but a lot of these things turn into callbacks. And then maybe you get them back on the phone. It's like these barriers between you and the money. When it comes to a pay per lead, bam, you pay the money, you get the lead, and it's just you straight up. The person wants to be called. It's not this cold situation where there's, basically you're intruding on their time. This person wants a callback. So we've noticed just more productivity in that realm where we could just go after and call somebody who wants to be called and call them extremely quickly. And we've seen the most success operating at that level.
Yeah.
I've found it's really nice because I used to do a lot of cold calling. So I'll briefly touch on how I ended up at Property Lead. So I used to do a lot of cold calling back in the day. And at one point I kind of hit this, I had this moment where I was like, dang, Like, this sucks. Like, I tried real estate. Like, if this is what it is, like, awesome. People are winning, but like, it's just not for me. And I was like, there's got to be like other stuff. And I just didn't know. So I started looking around and, found inbound leads, and I was like, wow, what is this? And started building my own website. I didn't even know what PPL was at that point. I was just trying to get my own SEO leads to do deals. And then that's when I shifted into PPL, and I was like, okay, this makes much more sense. And I think, what you guys were discussing there in terms of like getting leads where you get paid faster, it's just shortening the cash conversion cycle, right? So the cash conversion cycle is like, how fast can I actually make money off this deal? And if you're cold calling, you can get deals from cold calling, but the cash conversion cycle could be anywhere from 12 to 18 months, because usually it takes, a lot of nurturing. And there's something nice about, like, when you do the outbound, the cold calling, and the seller's like, well, I don't know, make me an offer. You called me.
Yeah.
It's really nice to be able to do that to them. I don't know, man, you reached out to me, bro. Like, what can I do to help you?
Yeah. The
So
leverage is in your hand, like it's on your side, and you have the upper hand. I'm not saying that we're taking advantage of these sellers, but that's what I like about, inbound, is that literally somebody is taking the time to put their information down, right? In on a website. Like, how motivated are they to do that? People are, they're just lazy. So if someone is actually putting their address down and they want someone to call them back, versus you calling them, and first, somebody calls me and there's already like might be like a delay in the connection. I already know it's somebody. Then if you have a little bit of an accent, everyone's trying to cut costs, so they're hiring callers and international callers, and they got a little bit of an accent. You already have so many barriers to people opening up to you to give you information on the house.
Yeah.
Got a quick question here for you, James, but let me just remind everybody, utilize the chat. We are in real time. We can see the chat. We got about 11, 12 people kind of hanging out live with us here today. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Our subscribers are going up every single day. We're getting new and every single week. And it's great to be able to provide value. And we've gotten tons of great feedback. And you can leave comments on our videos. We reply to every single comment, unless it's like a troll comment. But I've been leaving them up. I leave them up. It's fair game for everybody. So, James, question, explain to us how the different costs of leads. So, I mean, you guys break it down by county, kind of break this down here for the audience, and why are some counties more expensive and less expensive than others? And, maybe you can kind of give us some insight there.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'll talk a little bit about strategy too, how you can get cheaper leads at certain times. You can definitely take advantage of some of the stuff that I've seen on the platform. So sort of the I guess kind of the cream of the crop type of leads would be what we consider retail. An example of a retail lead is you're bidding in a specific county at a specific bid price. Okay, so if you log into the platform, every bid's going to start at 125 for every county. So if you're in Maricopa County, which is like Phoenix in Arizona, the current high bid might be 300. Okay, so what that means when you log in, if you see that price, that means that somebody in Maricopa is bidding 300. Okay, so that would be like an example of bidding retail. Now, you don't have to bid 325 or 300 to get leads. You can open your bid at 125, right? In fact, I would recommend that you bid on every county you want to do deals in. RJ and I were just talking about this the other day. Don't not bid on a county because you think it might be too expensive. At least place a bid of 125 on any county you're interested in.
Yeah.
The way it works though is, let's say the current high bid in Maricopa is 300. You're like, I got a big budget. I want every single lead. I can close deals. I want to be the high bidder. You slide in at 325. What happens there is you get every lead until you hit your budget. If you have no budget, you would eat up every lead in Maricopa County as long as you're the high bidder. So that's option number one. Second option is you could tie the current high bid. What we do there is we alternate leads. So there's never a scenario where we'll sell somebody the same lead. Like it comes in through one website, we sell to multiple people. That's not what we do. So in the instance where you're tied with somebody, we alternate leads. So if 50 leads come in for the month for that county, there's two buyers that are tied and they can both, support the budget for the month. You guys would each get 25 leads. We just alternate leads. So like you get one, they get one, you get one, they get one. Third option is you can bid whatever you want as long as it's a minimum of 125. So it's not uncommon when I'm onboarding somebody, they're bidding on 10 counties. They'll look at 6 of them and say, okay, I like the pricing in these, but these ones are, you know, a little bit higher than like what I'm comfortable with. Sometimes they just need proof of concept that, you know, we're legit, which I get. There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes on out there. So I just say, like, place a bid in these counties, see what you get. And the way that you get leads at the lesser price is as other people start to hit their budgets, it's going to filter to the next guy. So top guy hits his budget, goes to the second guy in line. You know, second guy hits his budget, goes to the third person in line, and all the way down. Additionally, one thing that we see on the platform is that a lot of people pause their accounts at 5 p.m. when they go home and on the weekends. So let's say there's 5 people in Maricopa County and 4 of them are paused for the weekend, but the one that's not paused is paying 125. The person that's paying 125 is going to get all those leads. So if you're looking for leads at a lesser price, or maybe you're working a full-time job, right? You're working 9 to 5, so you're building your real estate business on the side. Keep your account unpaused in the evenings, overnight if you can, because some of the best leads we've seen in terms of title transfer data are the ones that come in at 2 a.m. So you get that lead at 2 a.m., you wake up at 7, you call them. I would call them. I would actually call them if I was up at 2 and I got the lead, but I'm kind of crazy. I'm not. You do what makes you comfortable there. But keep your account unpaused at night and on the weekends, because you have a higher chance of getting leads at a lesser price.
That was huge, by the
Yeah.
way, guys. That was huge.
Yeah.
That's a little quick tip there. Imagine that person at 2 a.m, probably on a bender. They have issues. They've got issues with their house. They're thinking about all kinds of negativity, and then they're like, I need help. They're going straight to Google, you know, and they're like, I need to talk to somebody about my house problems. You better believe if that came in that early in the morning like that, definitely call them first thing.
Yeah.
You might have to, go through some of the whatever they're on, but help them.
I was up late one night watching. I'm on the East Coast. I was watching like a Dodgers game or something on like MLB Live, and like a lead came in late, and I was like, you know what? Let me just call this guy. Like it was like 11:30. Let me just call him and see what happens. He's like, "Hello." It was just funny. He answered. I had a conversation with him. I didn't buy his house, but he's on a drip campaign.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to mention when we were kind of talking about outreach and connecting with people, winners, wait, stuff like that. One thing that I also see on the platform is a lot of investors give up far too early on these leads. Seller will, they'll have a nice conversation with the seller first call. 3 days later, they'll say, well, I decided not to sell. And they'll just be like, oh, well, can I have a refund? And I mean, maybe, but what changed, right? There isn't that like follow-up comment. Well, tell me what changed, man. Like I thought we had something, right? They sort of just give up. And maybe it is a dead lead, or a lead that should be put into a long-term drip. But it could also just be a sales objection, right? Like we have no idea what changed. So always dig in and don't just let the seller tell you that there's nothing here without you knowing why. Because what I found is that 99% of the time they actually do need to sell, and it is just a sales objection. Motivation is tied to why they're selling. It's not tied to their initial asking price. It's not tied to them saying, I'm going to list with a realtor instead. It's tied to why they're selling. And I've seen a lot of times people give up too early, and I'll look at that house, and when it's sold and it sells, 30 days later for that cash price that they would have needed to get it at, but they gave up because the seller said they wanted too much. I've never, and maybe you guys have had better luck with this. I've never called a seller and they're like, James, you sound like an awesome dude. I'm just going to give you 50% of my equity, bro, because I like you. I've never had that happen. It takes some work.
It does.
Let me touch on something you said there, and then we'll start to put a bow on our conversation here. But James, you had mentioned, people give up. It's not just in this real estate game that people kind of give up. This is an epidemic in society because it's lack of discipline. And anyone who works with RJ and I, or follows RJ and I, or is close with RJ and I, knows that we are two extremely disciplined individuals. In fact, some people say, wow, you guys are so serious all the time, or you guys are so, like rigid, or I've actually heard the word militant before, because with our daily habits and our daily action. And it's not that we are these things of serious and militant and rigid. It's just, it appears that way because so few people actually stick to what their plan is here. You got to just stick with it. It's not just, James, why is the gym so busy in January at New Year's resolution time, and by March it's a ghost town again? It's because people give up. It's not just this real estate thing. So one thing you will get from the energy RJ and I do, obviously we provide a ton of value with the real estate thing. We do deals with the people in our community. We are very active in the real estate space. But this discipline's gonna rub off on you. It already has. People in our community, they're making life changes. I mean, I got
Yeah.
people who, I've been doing burpees every day, between 1 and 400 burpees a day since December 4th. I got other people in my little circle now. We don't put it online, but they're texting me. They're doing their burpees every single day. They're losing weight. People are improving their relationships. And this is not what we coach. We're real estate coaches, but when you're around individuals who are constantly taking steps forward, there's no steps back, real. We're not, taking a lot of mental time off where we're just going to let ourselves go and start picking up bad habits. We are very firm on our habits, and it reflects in our real estate business. It reflects in our coaching. So it's not just the real estate thing, James. People are just, this is something that we all need to improve on, is just our discipline, right? It's that discipline. So with that, what else you got here for us, James? Or, how's this going to work? I mean, if people in our community want to contact you, what's going to be the best way to kind of get in touch with you?
Yeah, so we're gonna drop a link in the show notes. Is that how where it would be?
You want me to drop that the affiliate link you guys created for us?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Please do.
So
And
everybody,
I'll tell everybody what we're gonna do with that.
so it's there. I'm having to log back into Restream. Restream's giving me, they're playing hard to get today.
No
RJ,
worries.
we need to get those things you wear on your nose for your sinuses and breathing. It's got to say cream on there.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second.
We gotta get that. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So that link's in the chat.
In the chat. Yep.
What we're gonna do for everybody that signs up in, let's see, it's 11:42 Eastern. I'm gonna cut it off at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. So you guys have about, was that 40 minutes? 50 minutes. You guys have 50 minutes to set up an account. You got to fund your account. You got to be fully set up. You're going to choose the self onboard option when you click the link. If you need to schedule a call, you can. If you need to schedule a call because you need more information, totally fine. Actually, let me walk that back. But if you sign up for an account with Property Leads in the next 50 minutes, we're going to give you guys $250 in free lead credit. Now, to get that lead credit, you have to fund your account with your 2 lead deposit. So the goal is not to just give people free leads. The goal is to get people on. They do their deposit, and then we incentivize them. We give them that free 250, to spend in lead, in lead credit. Hard cutoff though at 12:30. So if you slide in, we'll get you 920. No worries.
Yeah, we got you, brother.
We got you, man. We
Our
got
sister.
you. We'll take care of you. We appreciate you taking action, man. That's good stuff. If you get in there after 12:30 though, there won't be anything I can do. So action take, we're gonna make out.
James, just as fast as 920 home buyers went, on his or her own and signed up, is the exact same intensity that y'all need to have to get these leads, because they're gonna come. They're gonna come, and again, like James said, one goes here, one goes there. Pick up the phone. If you need a script, reach out to us. Get into our free Facebook group. There's plenty of scripts there. If you want to reach out and you need help, reach out. We're here to help. If you're seeing this on YouTube, just DM us. I need help with scripting, and we'll get you a script. All right. Look, we're always going to be bringing you resources like Property Leads, to calls like this, to our community. We want you to guys be successful, because ultimately we get a ton of, gratitude with our community. We've done deals with our community. We've done, we've done these live events. I don't know when the next live event is, probably in July. Busy June, a lot of family stuff going on for us, a lot of other events that we're a part of. But look, we're going live every Wednesday, and we're still in this business. We're not having, we've been doing deals since 2005. We still are continually doing deals, and we're always going to bring value like this. So if you're seeing this live and you want to get a hold of property leads, but you can't get this now, and then you got like half an hour, still reach out to us. We'll figure it out. We'll talk to James again. But dude, get on that link, try them out. If you're having trouble getting motivated seller leads, this is the path of least resistance. It really is.
Let's just quickly talk about budget, because I don't want somebody who is newer to be like, oh, I can't do this because I can't afford $300 leads. We have other options that I didn't cover. You can buy leads at the state level. You can buy leads at the national level that are a little cheaper. At the state level, the opening bid price is 75. At the national level, it's 50. Those leads are going to be a little more rural. I would recommend that if you do national and state stuff, that you do like some creative, you do novations. If you're strictly wholesaling, it could be a little bit tricky, not impossible, but tricky. And if you're newer and you just need to talk to sellers, that national price point is a really good option, because even though you're eager to get a deal, what you need is to speak to sellers and get good at talking to sellers. So if you only have $250 a month to spend on leads, don't not sign up because you're hearing us talk about $300 leads. Set your account up, fund your account. Even if you bid 125 in a specific county, you get 2 leads per month. You close 1 in 15. Maybe it takes you 6 months, but who cares? It's okay.
Yeah.
So don't write us off if you're like, oh, I can't do 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 a month. We all got to start somewhere. We have people on the platform who have budgets anywhere from 250 to 100,000 a month, and the goal is for everybody on the platform to win. So don't let that be a deterrent. Please definitely jump on the platform, because your marketing dollars are going to go a lot further with us than with somebody else. I'm very positive about that.
I got a question for RJ. You'll know the deal that we just got pictures on, that Casey just sent the pictures over, and you see some texts flying around about that particular deal. Did that one come from property leads, or did that come from?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll do one better, Dave. So I'm going to show a deal that we did last month. Okay. Let me see if I can do this restream. I know you've been.
We got one in
your
contract
thing.
right now, James. I don't know for certain. RJ will tell us, but we got it in contract for 200. We got an ARV of 475.
Okay, here we go, guys. You guys see my screen?
Not yet. Hang on 1 second, RJ. Now you do.
You did? Okay. So this is a deal we did. It closed a couple weeks ago, actually. All right. In London, Ohio, about 45 minutes away. This is a property leads. There is our assignment fee. You guys see that?
It's a little small. What do you got?
Yeah, it is a little small, but I'll take it.
No, I mean the screen is small.
Here we go. Woo! Oh no, it left. Okay, here we go. $13,220. Well, in total, about 13.7. Yep, this is a property lead. So, does it work? Sure as hell does. It worked right here.
And how much rehab did we put into that property, RJ?
0. This one we decided to quickly wholesale. It didn't make sense for us to buy and hold, but we are in the market for buy and hold properties. So if you are wholesaling and you're in our market, we'd love to do some deals with you. This one didn't fit the buy box. This interesting little deal here. We had you see that the vacancy holdback. So we buy deals, and sometimes we gotta let the seller stay in the property for a little while. But this was our take on this, a property lead deal, just one of many that we've done. So, and then
I love that you guys posted the statement. I love it.
Yeah. You know, proof
What's
of the
that?
pudding.
The HUD settlement statement?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Brother, we got a whole bunch of them. We're doing multiple deals every week and every single month. This is the real deal. I'm not trying to like scream it from the rooftops, but I really am. This is in this day and age. This is what I've been thinking about, guys. In this day and age, everything is a consultative sale. Like even our coaching and stuff. Like you got to have your, for sorry my language, but you got to have your shit together and you got to be real. Or like no one is going to buy into you unless you are really putting in the work, really showing the discipline, really showing what RJ calls receipts when it comes to HUD settlement statements. So this is what we are about. Our motto around here is don't talk about it, be about it. In this world of the information age where everybody's talking about something, the way to stand out is to actually be about it. And that is something that we are very, very much into, James.
I love it. Yeah. And if I'll say one thing on the coaching piece, because I've spent a lot of money on coaching, some good, some not so good. Coaches that'll show their HUD statements are the legit ones. And that's coming from personal experience.
Appreciate you,
We got
James.
plenty
Many
to
more.
show, brother.
Yeah, many more.
We got plenty more coming too. It's going to be another good month, 6 figures a month. James had mentioned something, the novation strategy. James gave a great idea that a lot of people turn off their bidding in the evenings and weekends. I thought that was a really good tip. Here's another tip, everybody. He had mentioned novations, which we teach and we do a lot of. When you're able to do the novation strategy, you're able to do deals outside of your core market because you're able to get these properties on the MLS. This has been a big revenue generator for us, everybody. But then also what that means is you can target the counties with the lowest bids. So we're doing deals in cities and counties, James, that I've never actually even heard of.
Yeah.
And then what we're bidding on these particular leads, no one else is bidding. We're the only bidder in some of these places.
Yep.
And then since we have, yes, we don't have a cash buyers list, it's not going to be feasible to do a wholesale deal in this particular county that we've never heard of. However, there's still buyers there. There's still an MLS there. So a good strategy is to go after the smaller markets, go after the smaller areas. You're the only bidder in town. You're scooping up all the leads. You're tying up these deals. You're doing a novation so it goes on the MLS. And it's basically just the same as a wholesale deal at that point. And it's just a small tweak in the strategy. It's going to lower your cost of lead massively. And that's what we teach people how to do. We teach you how to get these deals right over the phone. So it's not like if this county is far from you, you don't have to get in your car and do these deals. You're going to be getting these deals over the phone, getting the pictures. You never have to get in your car. We never have to go see these properties that we're flipping.
Yeah. Excellent.
Anybody else have any questions for James? Corey, thank you for hopping on. Do you have any questions?
I don't think so. This was great. You guys answered any questions I did have and gave me more info than I was even expecting. So good stuff.
Appreciate you, Corey. Anybody else in the chats? It is 11:52. If you're seeing this live stream, recorded stream in the I guess past at this point, then just reach out. We'll figure something out. We'll still take care of you somehow, but definitely take advantage of this. It's gonna end in like half an hour. That link is there. James, any last things you want to mention before we take off here? And thank you for your time, by the way. It's been cool to hang out with you again.
Yeah, I love that you guys had me on. I love that you guys are action takers, and that's definitely who we want to align with. Use a link to sign up. If there's anything that maybe we didn't cover here, that if you're driving, maybe you can't ask the question. We want to make sure you're driving safe. You can email me at james@propertyleads.com. Happy to answer any questions you have. I'll direct you to one of the guys on the sales team to get you onboarded. But feel free to use me as sort of the the intro contact person. If you just have some questions, I'll make sure that you get to the right person. Like I said, use that link. We want to get you that credit, and let's get you guys doing some deals.
Absolutely. We're not here to talk about it. We're here to be about it, but we're also here to give you the best path of least resistance. And that's what it's about, everybody. So we practice what we preach, but we also preach what we actually use. So we're very fond of property leads, get in on it yourself. There's an abundance mentality going around over here. RJ, any final closing thoughts or burning desires?
No, you definitely don't want to miss the next live stream. We've got something cooking for you. So be on the lookout for an email or a text message for that. And today's, live stream is going to be in all the socials that you're following us on. Again, the link is there. You can email James at propertyleads.com if you have any questions. And we truly appreciate your time here, James. And also everybody else that's on the live stream. So we'll see you soon.
Awesome.
Take it a great
Appreciate
day.
you.
Bye, guys.